journey begins? Well, I started to change my life radically, where my life had been filled with many activities. I really did have my life broken down into 15-minute segments. Now, not that I'd follow it exactly, but I was always overscheduled and didn't sleep a lot. Had a couple of businesses going, but love had captured me. I tasted of something. I tasted the Lord, and it was good, really good. So I shifted, and my responsibilities as pastor at Kansas City Fellowship was 3 times a day in the prayer room. It was 6 hours a day, and I would have done it either way. I just had been apprehended by him, so I went in and I would go for interceding and asking him of things, but I thought, I don't even know him well enough. And really, I thought, he's a heart, a follower with a heart, and I just don't want to come and tug on his pants leg. I want to know his heart. So I began to wonder, how do I begin this journey? And it was very interesting for me that something popped into my head, that I've always lived by acronyms because it's a great way to remember and to do your studies. Of course, being the A student that I was, I had developed these shortcuts. No, I'm teasing, but I just thought about the alphabet, and I started to tell God and find the scriptures where He was the abundantly available God in all my times of need, because I had not been able to experience His abundance and His availability, and in all my times of need, no, not anyway. And that was my major devil. I had 3 of them that really challenged me in my relationship with Him. And that was the major one, self-strength. I moved out at 15, and I felt like I had to do everything on my own. And I had a number of life experiences, like many have, where you just feel on your own because you don't know how to turn to Him, and you just try and make it work. And the hustle muscle, the do it wrong harder way, was my way. But so that abundantly available in all my times of need was a profound reality, because I always thought He was the severe, distant God, and it was what I could do for Him, not what He could do for me. And when I started to adore Him, I wanted to vindicate the greatness of His holy name. I wanted Him to be loved, but I found that it didn't work that way. 1 John 4 is true, that He says we love because He first loved us. So even in this journey of love, I would see His nature as a father, and how He wanted to be abundantly available in all of my times of need, and how He had been. And as I would state that, and I'd go on the journey, and from the beginning, He gave me a golden imagination, a divine imagination, a childlike hope imagination. And you could call it just a daydreaming kid, but it was something that became wonderful. And so I would just dream of the past experiences of my life, and I quit kicking my playpen the way I was brought up, and I started to see how He had been the abundantly available God. And then I experienced the first fruit, really knowing Him, and this journey of understanding, a new encounter pathway, and a journey of understanding the primary faces that He wanted to show me. So let me share with you that first face that He showed me, and that I wrote in my diary those years ago. step was finding the on-ramp for our relationship with every human being, animal, creation. You find there's a way to relate to flowers, to trees. You really can relate and bring this harmony and this attunement. It's not being a pantheist, it's realizing that the nature of God, that even the rocks cry out for Him, that everything becomes alive in this place where the trees clap their hands in love to Him. The waves splash up on the beach, it says in a rhythm. That's a rhythm unto God. So we begin to attune, and I was attuning to Him and His heart. And so I said the first step was going through the alphabet, and I had just started at A, and I wrote in my journal, I'm starting to experience Him as the abundantly available God in all my times of need. And I said I had been one that just on my journey of understanding who He was in the past, I said, I just known the duty-filled God. And I had wanted my life to be defined as an adoration pillar. But it was this place that I had gotten to know Him just based on what I could get done for Him. So I started reading 2 Chronicles 20, Psalms 44:3, and this basically those verses, Jeremiah 9:23, Micah 4, they basically say that the really supreme way of our lives, like Psalms 44:3, it says, I didn't win by the strength of my arm or by my chariots or my bow or my wisdom. I won by the light of His presence because You favored me. That knowing Him was the answer to everything, and also His power and all. And so it was the first time when I began to really see Him through my life, and I couldn't anymore just believe, I had to see. I had to experience that Job 42:5, that I used to hear of Him with the hearing of the ear, but now I see Him with the seeing of the eye. I had to see Him through all my life as this abundantly available God, and then I had to even do beyond that. To go deeper in this journey with Him, I had to go to Numbers 12:6-8, where I discerned His form as Moses discerned His form, that I could tell where He was at and when and what He was doing. And I just spent hours on finding Waldo, finding what seemed to be that book. Waldo's hidden in a crowd, and you can't find him. But then once you find him, he stands out from that crowd every time you look at it, because now you've got your eye trained. And so that's where this journey, after 3 months of just day and night adoring Him as the abundantly available God, in all my times of need, in Psalms 46:10, seeing Him in my life, always acknowledging Him that way in that season, and then appropriating Him in my present circumstances, and then again acknowledge Him when it came. He showed me His face that way. I'd do the Psalms 92. There was a great discipline, but it was not harsh, but I had been used to discipline. I'd been a wrestler and given 6 hours a day to a sport, so I just gave it to Him, and it just led to deeper and deeper still. And I knew those breaking points in wrestling where you get better and you go through levels and you go through those dark places that you get deeper, and it isn't a big deal. And so I loved to do it unto Him, but it was like altogether what I thought was going to be met with sacrifice, this journey. I was sorely disappointed because all it was a pleasure. And so He showed me Himself as the abundantly available God, and I had this experience which I never experienced before. I had this peace that passed understanding. that met me. And really never had a time where my mind wasn't anxious. And I would sit by a girl in the prayer room, and I could tell, just that she was always anxious. She would perspire, and I never saw her have a thought outside of torment. And I saw her as just, I'd share with her what I was experiencing her, and I saw her one day and she wasn't sweating, and I cried, and she was just in that place. She had entered in that door. She had come out of the torment into this place of bliss, this place from a dark, dismal place where the haunts of cruelty, David talked about that, attacked his mind, to this place where kindness and rest and peace, that experiencing of an unintelligible peace. It's beyond your circumstances. You don't know why you have it so much, but you sought the Lord, He heard you, and He delivered you from all of your fears. To really have that encounter, Psalms 34:1, and because He's at my right hand, I will not be shaken. To really have that absorb you in that atmosphere, for you to walk in it, give me my life back. And if I didn't ever experience another benefit in knowing Him and beginning this journey of love, and this first little discovery of Him as the abundantly available God in all the times of my need, it would have been totally worth it. So I will continue for a next face of God that I met in the next few months of my journey with Him. God bless you. And I encourage you to ask Him how you might meet His face in that way too. And I'll give you more practical applications as we go. I'm hoping to just give you 5 to 7 minutes for you to just feel this journey, and then to embrace it and to ponder on it and ask Him good questions. To ask Him, show me where you've been in this way that you were the abundantly available God in all the times of need. Bless you. So the first step was finding